Hello, everyone, and welcome to our live coverage of Starlink 15-3 mission launching from West Coast, that is from Pad Space Launch Complex 4 East at Vandenberg Space Force Base in California. If it's your first time here, hi, my name is Dipta Maitra, performing the commentary for today's mission launch, and you are watching AstroYonder live.
Roger, 0G, and I feel fine. Capsule is turning around.
Houston, we see a nominal MECO. Welcome to space.
Excuse me, hope you all are doing fine and excited about the upcoming SpaceX Starlink launch. And just about 6.5 hours from now, we have another Starlink mission, Starlink Group 6 91. We'll be streaming that also, and we hope that you will be joining us there as well. Right now, we are super excited bringing you the coverage of SpaceX's 482nd overall launch and the 54th Falcon 9 launch of this year, which also suggests that SpaceX is going to have its 500th mission launch this year, with just 19 more launches to go right now. That is going to be a major milestone for SpaceX. Now, today's mission marks the 17th one from Vandenberg for SpaceX as they continue building their incredible launch cadence for this year. Well, one thing, let us know your prediction for the month when SpaceX will reach its 500th mission launch. We'll be glad to hear from you. Now, just a reminder, we have had launches for Starlink Group 11, Group 12, and Group 13, but Group 14 was skipped entirely, and SpaceX jumping straight to Group 15, which already had one launch on February 22nd, 2025, before today's one. Right now, we are waiting for a Falcon 9 liftoff at 5:19 p.m. Pacific Time, 8:19 p.m. Eastern Time from California for a southeasterly launch for SpaceX Starlink mission. The Starlink mission 15-3 will launch a batch of 26 Starlink satellites to low Earth orbit. Now, before we dive into the mission details, on behalf of AstroYonder team and our awesome moderators, want to thank all of you joining us for today's launch. We are grateful to have you as part of the stream. We really appreciate you being here, and a huge shout out to our amazing YouTube community for the support as we bring our detailed coverage of space launches with all the stats and in-depth insights. Would really appreciate if you guys could join the chat and let us know where you are joining from. Additionally, feel free to share any questions, suggestions, or opinion with us. Would love to hear from you guys. Now, just a heads up, it's me only managing the launch coverages on my own. So if by chance we face any technical issues, please bear with me. Nothing to worry. I will do my best to guide you through the Falcon 9 rocket launch happening in approximately 39 minutes from now. Now, SpaceX did adjusted their liftoff time approximately 16 minutes and pushed back. Currently, now they are targeting 5:19 p.m. Pacific time. So far, reports suggest that the weather is looking good for today's Falcon 9 launch opportunity, and the range is ready to support. The forecast calls for a temperature of 25 degrees Celsius, few clouds with 17% cloud cover, and a wind speed of 100 miles per hour. Now let's take a look at today's payload details for Starlink Group 15-3 mission. Today's launch is the 37th dedicated Starlink mission of the year. Before this, a total of 856 Starlink satellites had already been launched in 2025 alone. Starlink satellite built in Redmond, Washington. Today's payload consists of 26 Starlink version 2 mini optimized satellites. Now, just a reminder, today's payload does not consist of any direct to cell satellites. Each of these satellites having 5 advanced Ku band phased array antennas, 3 dual band parabolic antennas utilizing Ka and E bands, and a dual solar array that spreads out to about 100 feet wide and a total surface area of 52.5 square meters. Not to forget, these two solar air arrays are also aeroneutral, which enable faster on-orbit maneuvers, and each satellite is equipped with a high-capacity battery to, to provide power to the payloads. Each Starlink satellite features 3 space laser transponders, that is optical inter-satellite links, ISL for short, for intercommunication operating at up to 200 Gbps. They make use of argon-fueled Hall effect thrusters for in-orbit maneuvering, previously which was krypton-based, and this switch was mainly due to the cost effectiveness of argon provides compared to the krypton. Now, just to have a context that why this switch has been made, related to krypton, the argon required to fuel Starlink version 2 satellites will be practically free. To put it into perspective, fueling its next constellation of about 30,000 version 2 mini satellites could cost SpaceX less than fueling 4,000 version 1 satellites, which were based on Krypton. Also, SpaceX claims that its second generation thrusters using argon has 2.4 times the thrust and 1.5 times the specific impulse of from the previously Krypton fueled thrusters. Now, today's payload will be deployed in an orbit with an altitude of approximately 267 kilometers with an inclination of 70 degrees. But the operational orbit will be an altitude of about 535 kilometers with the same inclination of 70 degrees. Each optimized version 2 mini satellites weighs approximately 1,268 pounds, which is equivalent to 575 kilograms. And this is about 22% lighter than the original version 2 mini design. Now, just for the context, each of the unoptimized version weighs around 1,763 pounds, equivalent to 800 kilograms. Starlink satellite use custom-built star tracker to find their position, altitude, and orientation for optimal broadband throughput. Each one has 4 reaction wheels for precise attitude control, plus a hot space setup for the reliability. Their aluminum flywheel is designed to safely burn at the end of their useful life upon re-entry. Additionally, they have an onboard autonomous collision avoidance system that uses US Department of Defense debris tracking database for avoiding collisions with space junk, other spacecraft, and other Starlink satellites autonomously. Now again, just to understand the importance of autonomous collision avoidance system, here is a quick context. According to a SpaceX report published last year, Starlink satellite performs 275 collision avoidance maneuvers each day. And in that course of past 6 months when this report got published, Starlink satellite performed 50,000 collision avoidance maneuvers. So I hope these numbers can make you understand the significance of an autonomous collision avoidance system. Now, about the Starlink version 2 mini optimization of Starlink satellites, and with that, how SpaceX is leveling up with the number of satellites. So, firstly, the key optimization is a 22% weight reduction, bringing each satellite's launch mass to approximately 575 kilograms compared to the original version 2 Mini's 800 kilograms. This lighter design, achieved through upgraded avionics, propulsion, and power systems, allows more satellite to fit within the Falcon 9's payload fairings and to suffice its capacity. Additional enhancement includes a Doppio dual band antenna for improved bandwidth and mass optimized components tailored for efficient stacking and development. Thanks to all these optimizations, which allows Falcon 9 to carry up to 29 satellites per mission, around 6 more than the original version 2 mini design. Now, some quick fun facts. Starlink 6-39 mission launched back in 2024 aboard the Falcon 9 was the first to include 24 Starlink version 2 mini satellites, the then highest count for version 2 minis. Now, on this year, on January 21st, with Group 11-8, SpaceX launched 27 optimized version 2 mini satellites for the first time. Then again on March 2025, with Group 6-80, they launched 28 optimized version 2 minis for the first time. Up to that point, it was the highest for version 2 mini variant, but again, with May 4th, 2025 Starlink launch, SpaceX broke its own record by launching 29 version 2 mini satellites, surpassing the previous high of 28, and that was the biggest batch yet for the version 2 mini variant. In comparison, the highest for version 1 is 60 satellites, and for version 1.5, it's 56. With today's launch, it marks the 13th time SpaceX launching its optimized version 2 mini variants, bringing the total to 357 satellites. Now, now a question can arise that why optimized Starlink satellites and why there's an increase in number of satellites per launch. So SpaceX is increasing launching optimized version 2 mini satellites as a strategic move to expand and update its satellite internet network. This satellites acts as a transitional solution until the larger version 3 variant can launch aboard Starship. Lighter and more advanced version 2 minis offer roughly 4 times the capacity of earlier version, allowing more to be launched per mission, which, as I mentioned, up to 29 at a time, reducing cost and deployment time, accelerating the deployment time. This helps SpaceX meet rising global demand, replacing the aging and deorbited version 1 and version 1.5 satellites and maintain consistent coverage while building towards its authorized Generation 2 constellation of up to 30,000 satellites. Now, for example, in February 2024, last year, SpaceX announced deorbiting 100 older version 1 satellites due to a potential flaw, and recent data shows that they orbit about 4 to 5 satellites daily. So this creates a void in the constellation, which SpaceX addresses by launching new version 2 mini optimized satellites with a increased payload, offering 4 times the capacity and improved performance. So I hope this will address your curiosity about that why there is a need of launching and so many Starlink satellites and why this spike already showed up. So now Let's take a look at the flight record for the booster supporting today's Starlink 15-3 mission. The booster with tail number 1081 supporting today's mission, a mid-age booster you can say, with 13 previous flights in its record, including 7 non-Starlink missions like SpaceX Crew 7 that marked the 11th overall crewed orbital flight of a Crew Dragon spacecraft. CRS-29 mission, that is a commercial resupply services mission to the International Space Station, the 9th flight for SpaceX under NASA's CRS Phase 2 contract. Next up was the NASA's PACE mission, which stands for Plankton Aerosol Cloud Ocean Ecosystem, which is a NASA Earth observing satellite mission. Next up, the Transporter 10 mission is SpaceX's rideshare, which launched 53 satellites, and another one recently, Transporter 13. ESA's European Space Agency's Earth Care mission, which is a joint European-Japanese satellite under European Space Agency's Earth Explorer program. And the last non-Starlink mission supported by today's booster was the NROL-186 mission for National Reconnaissance Office. And additionally, this booster supported 6 Starlink missions prior to today's launch. Now waiting its 14th flight just minutes away. The last mission supported by today's booster was Transporter 13 on March 14th of this year. The booster's turnaround time as of today is 56 days, and today's mission will be the 10th consecutive launch of this booster from PAD Space Launch Complex 4 East. Also today, the booster will have its 8th landing on a drone ship. To date, previously it made 6 landings on, of course, I Still Love You, and one time on a short follow-up Gravitas, with previous 6 land landings in its record. So that's all about the booster supporting today's mission. I would like to welcome Fairmaid, one of our moderators, joining us. I should say good morning to you, Fairmaid. Good morning, Fairmaid. I hope you are doing well, and thanks for tuning in. Today we have one more also upcoming Starlink launch, and I hope if you can have time, you could join us there as well. Would love to have you with us. So now let's have a look at the bar graph showing number of Falcon 9 launches each year. Before today's upcoming launch, SpaceX completed its 53rd Falcon 9 launch for this year, with the Starlink 6-93 mission launch from Slick 40 at Cape Canaveral on May 6th, leaving behind the number of annual launches made till year 2021, now having 22 more than the launches made in 2021. With today's launch of Starlink 15-3 mission, the bar graph shows 54 number of Falcon 9 launches for this year. SpaceX is now less than halfway to reach the number of launches made in year 2022 and 2023. And with today's mission, SpaceX will be having 7 less number of launches from 2022 and 42 less than the launches made in 2023. As of today, SpaceX is yet to reach even the half of the launches made last year. As we know, previously SpaceX completed 132 launches of Falcon 9 last year, marking a year with the highest annual launches to date for SpaceX. Now, again, aiming for another record breaking year with around 180 Falcon 9 launches just itself, apart from upcoming Falcon Heavy launches, if any, surpassing last year's highest annual launch count. Although it's an ambitious target, and hope they will get around with that. Now, if this stream fuels your love for space, give this stream a like. It's like fine tuning the trajectory of our mission to build a community with amazing space enthusiasts like you. And don't forget to subscribe and turn on the notification so that you won't miss a single launch update. Now, please allow us a couple of seconds to check whether the launch is on time or not and to stay updated. As because SpaceX already adjusted their liftoff time once. No, as of now, it remains the same. So, no worries. That's a good thing. Now, skipping the pre launch timeline since it's a typical Falcon 9 launch for Starlink with absolutely no deviations. However, there's one point I would like to highlight just for quick knowledge, and which you might be knowing already, but still want to repeat that for those who doesn't know that. The strong back reclining process at Vandenberg differs from that at Cape Canaveral and Kennedy Space Center. Here at Vandenberg, we recline the strong back 13 degrees, whereas at Cape Canaveral and Kennedy Space Center, we recline the strong back about a degree and a half away from the Falcon 9. So that's only the deviation in today's pre-launch timeline, with rest of the other timeline events the same. Well, I forgot to make the timeline to show up on the stream, and I don't know whether this timeline will be synchronizing anyways, but it will give us a rough idea. Now, just a reminder, SpaceX is currently targeting a liftoff time of Falcon 9 from Vandenberg Space Force Base at 5:19 p.m. Pacific Time, 8:19 p.m. Eastern Time on Friday, May 9th of 2025. I would like to welcome Pop Tripika, one of our moderator here at AstroYonder, joining us. Hello, Pop Tripika. I hope you are doing well, and I hope you had a great fun time during your last stargazing. And what about did you saw any Starlink trails in the sky? Now let's go ahead and briefly step through the trajectory for today's Starlink mission. Falcon 9 leaving the pad from Space Launch Complex 4 east from Vandenberg Space Force Base with the spacecraft on board the batch of 26 Starlink satellites for a southeast trajectory along the coast of Southern California, heading into a low Earth orbit. That is to the 15th shell of second generation Starlink mega constellation, indicated by that green line on your screen. The red line you see indicates where Falcon 9 first stage lands after stage separation just a little later, leaving California's coast. Today, it's a drone ship landing and will be supported by, of course, I Still Love You here at the West Coast. And this will going to be the 129th landing on, of course, I Still Love You drone ship to date, if successful. Estimated some recovery specifics for you. Estimated booster recovery is approximately 595 kilometers, with estimated fairing recovery approximately 605 kilometers downrange, and the stage 2 debris reentry will be in the South Pacific Ocean. Now, replying to Pop Replica, I did saw your question whether it seems like it's clear, and I did mention the forecast. As for Vandenberg flights, we don't receive 45th Weather Squadron weather reports, but I did searched for the weather conditions, and the forecast calls for a temperature of 25 degrees Celsius, having few clouds with 17% cloud cover and a wind speed of 100 miles per hour. So I hope um, it gets interprets to be a clear weather, and everything will be going smooth. Also would like to thank um, Jimmy Montes for subscribing to us. Welcome, Jimmy, and I hope we will be expecting your meeting your expectations for the streams we are covering. Once again, thanks for subscribing us, and I hope now you will be enjoying the stream. Now on your screen here are some of the specifics related to droneship as of today. Currently there are 3 in SpaceX droneship fleet, as we know. Out of 3, just read the instructions. A shortfall of Gravitas are based in Florida, and another of course I Still Love You here at California. We anticipate the addition of a 4th drone ship as promised by SpaceX earlier, that it will be happening this year. Now, as of now, we are not getting any information regarding that, so possibly that can occur late this year, or who knows, early next year. But let's be hopeful. Well, thanks, Jimmy and Roger, for updating us regarding the weather. Well, I did saw from other websites, because 45th Weather Squadron are not publishing weather reports for Vandenberg flights, and it seemed to me that it will be uh, a good weather there at Vandenberg. And would like to welcome Roger for joining us. And it's quite a jargon to say. Please don't mind me if I will be pronouncing your name in a wrong way. Jojo Jr. 1794. Well, the launch will be happening at 5:19 p.m. Pacific time, 8:19 p.m. Eastern time. They pushed back 16 minutes the liftoff time for today, and as of now, they are sticking with that same time. Now, coming to the fairing recovery, the 2 halves of the payload fairing will be recovered slightly farther, approximately 7 kilometers downrange from where the first stage lands on the drone ship. Of course, I Still Love You, after they will smoothly splash down with the guidance of parachutes. SpaceX will utilize a recovery vessel to retrieve them from the Pacific waters, and we know why they do so, because the total cost of 2 halves is nearly $6 million. So quite obvious that SpaceX aims to recover the fairing for repetitive use, mirroring their approach with rocket boosters, upholding the motto of reusability and sustainability. Now you can see on your screen how a fairing recovery operation looks like. Although the recovery vessel on your screen is Dirk performing the recovery operations, but today it's a Vandenberg flight, and so today's supporting recovery vessel is Go Beyond here at the Pacific. Other recovery vessels, Bob, Doug, and Go Cosmos, are awaiting their next assignment. Some more uh, images for you to better understand how a fairing recovery looks like. Meanwhile, would like to welcome Tina for joining us. I hope, Tina, you are doing well, and thanks for tuning in to AstroYonder, and guess you will be enjoying the stream. Now we are approximately 4 and 6 minutes away from the webcast to begin, so let's just quickly wrap up with the stats we have for you guys to share with. Today's launch marks the 482nd SpaceX's overall launch and the 37th dedicated Starlink launch of this year. This is going to be the 469th Falcon 9 launch to date. This is going to be the 14th flight of this particular Falcon 9 booster supporting today's mission, with tail number 1081 being in action after 56 days. Although it came into action after 6 days being delayed because this launch of Starlink Group 15-3 was supposed to happen 6 days earlier. Well, it's good that they are like taking safety into consideration rather than having a launch. Now, today's mission marks the 54th Falcon 9 launch and SpaceX's 56th overall launch of 2025. This will be the 411th Falcon booster reflight to date. That is the launch of a booster that has flown at least once before. 122nd orbital flight for SpaceX launching from Space Launch Complex 4 East, and the 189th overall orbital launch from Slick 4 East. Now, with today's success of this mission, SpaceX will have a remarkable 8,525 Starlink satellites, including 609 dedicated direct-to-cell satellites launched to date. Nowadays, we are seeing most of the launches are for Group 6, and we are not getting more launches for direct-to-cell satellites. But I guess it's due to the, as I mentioned, that why they are launching the optimized one and so many of them, because of the decaying and deorbiting Gen 1, that is version 1 and 1.5 Starlink satellites in the constellation, creating a void. Now, moving on to some reusability statistics. Today's launch marks 395th Falcon 9 booster reflight to date. This will be the 129th landing on, of course, I Still Love You drone ship. 14th landing of the first stage booster with tail number 1081 supporting today's mission. And with this mission's first stage landing, SpaceX will be having their 353rd overall drone ship landing, marking 423rd Falcon 9 landing so far and 442nd SpaceX's overall landing to date. Now, speaking of landing, here are some of the stats for the drone ship landing prior to today's mission. Once again, just to remind you, please don't get confused that these stats on your screen right now for the drone ship are excluding today's mission. These are prior to today's launch. Well, Pop Pika, Starlink will make us more crazy. Don't worry. Just we are just few more left launches to get 500 launch of SpaceX. So, and about Starlink, it's crazy. So rest assured that we are going to have a crazy ride with SpaceX regarding the Starlink launches. Now, let's have a quick look into some key stats for SpaceX launches in this year, including today's mission. With today's mission, SpaceX will be having its 56th launch of this year, and out of those, 37 are Starlink missions, including today's one. 17 were non Starlink missions for commercial and government organizations, and of course, two Starship launches. 51 of these missions using a reuse booster, including today's one. Now, the geographical distributions gives us that SpaceX is having 37 launches from East Coast. On the West Coast, they will be having 17 launches with today's launch from Space Launch Complex 4 East at Vandenberg Space Force Base. And as of now, two launches from Gulf Coast at Starbase in Texas with Starship's 7th and 8th test flights and two Super Heavy booster catches for both of those test flights. Now, we did know about the anomaly during the static fire for the ship 35, and SpaceX is really pushing to stay on track with the launch, working on repairs and refurbishments for the Raptor vacuum engines on the Starship Ship 35. And the NOTAMs suggest that the launch can be possible between May 19 to 28 with 2-hour launch window opening at 23:30 hours UTC for each day. Also, SpaceX got approval from FAA for 25 launches per year from Starbase, and Starbase is now a city geographically. Now, moving on to this year's stats again. For landing, they will be nailing it for the 52nd time this year. Most of the landings are on droneship with 43 landings, and for ground landings, they pulled off 9 of them. And in order to retain the return to launch site, that is the RTLS capabilities, SpaceX is working on adding a landing pad at Launch Complex 39A and Space Launch Complex 40. Now, I guess it's time for the webcast to begin. So let me just check whether it's rolling or not. Yep, it's live. So let's head over. And please give me a moment to set things up for you guys. SpaceX is now playing some pre-launch tunes going on. I will patch the audio feed once it drops. Now, meanwhile, let me just quickly tell you about more stats for today's launch. Regarding today's launch, today is the 96th orbital launch of this year, and United States is leading with 63 launches, followed by China with 23 launches, Russia with 5 launches, 1 launch each by India, Japan, and Europe with 3 launches. So that's all for the insights, and I hope we could add some value to your viewing experience, which is the top priority here at AstroYonder. So if you felt we somewhat achieved that, please consider liking this stream. It really helps others to find this stream. Also consider subscribing to our channel as we work hard to bring your streams back to its stats. And right now, we are the favorite line of Bob Tripika. We are burning our midnight fuel to bring this stream for you guys. And we would be incredibly grateful for your support. Right now, they are playing this pre-stream. Well, now here it comes.
Are pressurizing for strong back retract.
There we go. It's a clear weather, quite sunny, as Roger mentioned that it's hot there as well. And we heard the call out for strong back retraction. They're pressurizing the tanks for the strong back retraction. And we'll be hearing the call out for
Retract has started.
And we did got the call out for strong battery retraction, which is already undergoing. And we are getting nice view with this sun ray on the lens falling. It's looking nice. So while we are watching this live view of Falcon 9, some important steps were completed. Meanwhile, the spacecraft team switched to the internal power a few minutes ago, and fueling of the Falcon 9 first stage is finished, meaning all the RP-1 prop is now on board. We are still loading liquid oxygen on both the first and second stages, and we will be listening in a couple of seconds for LOX load completion for both the stages. Now we are seeing the strong back retraction is underway and the strong back reclining slowly away from the Falcon 9, and it's 13 degrees away it will be getting from Falcon 9. It's a slow process because you can still see those lines connected there, which provides air conditioning, electrical signals, pressurization gases, and propellant to the spacecraft and both the stages. So we need to make sure all this stretch up quite smooth and without tugging those lines.
Stage 1 LOX load is complete.
We did got the call out for stage 1 LOX load being complete. We are now waiting for second stage LOX load completion that will finish up at just inside 2 minutes mark. Now everything seems to be perfect. Weather is quite good. Range continues to be green. We don't expect any weather conditions at least. Again, for any other reason we do not have the launch today, we do have a backup opportunity tomorrow, that is Saturday, May 10th, with launch window opening at 5 p.m. Pacific time, 8 p.m. Eastern time. Now we'll be listening in a couple of seconds for LOX load closeout on the second stage.
Stage 2 LOX load is complete.
And that's a confirmation. Stage 2 LOX load is complete. All propellants are now on board the Falcon 9 with 1 million pounds of propellant. We are now beginning to vent down the pressure that was remaining in the tubing on the strong back. That's why we can see those clouds coming out there. Next up, we will be hearing the call out for ground gas closeout, where we will bleed the pressure off, and that cold gas, when it reacts with the moist, humid Pacific air, gives us this nice white cloud, which is an healthy indicator of launch coming up. Well, Pop Tropica, we will get some good views up there from space, as it's a daytime launch. And we did got the call out that Falcon 9 is in startup. Flight, flight computers on both the stages are now running the rocket to the last minute of count. And we did got the call out from SpaceX launch director giving the final go for the launch. So now let's sit back and enjoy the launch. A daytime launch means we will be getting some good nice views from space from both the stages. So let's enjoy that.
10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Ignition. And liftoff of Falcon 9. Go SpaceX, go Starlink. Stage 1 propulsion is nominal. Vehicle is pitching downrange.
So we have a successful liftoff. Falcon 9 has cleared the tower. We are getting some amazing tracking views of the Falcon 9 right now. T plus 31 seconds into the flight. Stage 1 engine chamber pressure in is nominal. We did got a good call out for that. Now Falcon 9 is on its way with 26 Starlink satellites into low Earth orbit.
Power and telemetry nominal.
So there we go, some more good callouts there. Power and telemetry is nominal. Right now we are throttling down the 9 Merlin engines as we prepare for the period of maximum dynamic stress coming up. Right now we exceeded Mach 1 on the Falcon 9. And we did got the call out that we are through the period of maximum dynamic stress on the vehicle. We have throttled the 9 Merlin engines back up to full power. Next, expecting a call out for MVAC engine chill. Although Pop Picker doesn't, it seems like the first stage camera got a little messy from now only. But anyways, we will get some good views. So we did got the call out for MVAC engine chill prior to its ignition just after stage separation. Coming up 3 events in rapid succession: the shutdown of main engine on first stage, that is main engine cutoff, also known as MECO, followed by stage separation and ignition of the second stage, MVAC engine, also known as SES-1, that will boost the payload into low Earth orbit. So let's hear to the callouts. And we did got a call out for nominal trajectory for Falcon 9. As of now, the stage separation is not there, so it's still considered as a single vehicle.
Main engine cutoff.
Stage separation confirmed.
MVAC ignition.
So we did got those callouts for back-to-back milestones. Next, we are expecting the callout for fairing separation. Now, on your left-hand side of your screen, you can see the flight computers has commanded the 4 hypersonic titanium grid fins to slowly begin deploying.
Fairing separation confirmed.
There we go. We got the call out for the fairing separation being successful. So today I'm happy. I'm getting some good, nice views to experience.
Both stages are on nominal trajectories.
Good, healthy call outs for both the vehicles, for both the stages, following nominal trajectories. Right now, you are looking a view of first stage, which continues under the guidance of the great fins and gravity as it descends back to Earth. It will continue to rise towards the apogee, and I hope our moderator will be letting you to know what is the apogee on the chat section before descending back towards the landing on droneship. Of course, I still love you, stationed in Pacific Ocean. Second stage, meanwhile, in middle of its 6 minutes of burn on its way into the parking orbit and providing us with some spectacular views. I guess the apogee is 117 kilometers for today. From the telemetry you can see there on your screen. So far the launch has been great and it went all smooth. All the milestones we did got until now were as planned. No issues there. Second stage right now is running at full power. We are getting some amazing cool views from space. And right now we are getting ready for the first stage to return to the droneship landing site. And meanwhile, on the left hand side of your screen, you guys can see some nitrogen gas burst from the first stage, which is basically for attitude control or the orientation control, you can say. And it is used to position the vehicle as it heads back to the droneship. Now, just a reminder, when we will be hearing the stage 1 FTS being saved, it means the re-entry burn for stage 1 has been either initiated or accomplished. We are just couple of seconds from now from the stage 1 entry burn to startup. That should be happening about t plus 6 minutes and 6 seconds. It is although approximate time. And thanks Fairmate for mentioning the apogee. Today I also noticed the apogee.
Stage 1 entry burn startup.
And there's a confirmation. Sounds like a little lazy, but there's a confirmation. We just lit 3 of those 9 Merlin 1D engines on the first stage. Now we are rapidly slowing down the vehicle, as you can see on the bottom left hand side of your screen from telemetry as it enters the Earth's atmosphere. And this burn should last just around 24 seconds. And there we go. There's a confirmation of shutdown of the entry burn on the first stage, making the camera view on the first stage getting messy. But I hope
Stage 1 trajectory nominal.
it
Stage
will.
1 FTS is saved.
And we got a call out, healthy call out for trajectories for the vehicle, both the vehicle, and also we did got the call out for stage 1 FTS being saved. Now when we will be hearing the stage 2 FTS being saved, that means the stage 2 went through its orbital insertion burn successfully. Next we are expecting the call out for stage 1 being transonic.
Stage 1 transonic.
We just heard
FTS is saved.
the call out. Stage 1 is now traveling slower than the speed of sound as it's now transonic and it's heading towards its landing site. And we did got the call out for stage 1 FTS being saved as well. That means the orbital insertion burn is successful. So right now we are having the landing burn. Center E9 engine now lit. We are slowing down the vehicle furthermore very rapidly. Should be seeing those landing legs deploy. There we go. Stage 1 landing legs deployed.
Stage 1 landing confirmed.
So there we have it. We made the successful 423rd landing of an orbital class Falcon 9 rocket. Coming up next, we will have the second stage engine cutoff, that is SECO 1. And following that event, we will enter into nearly 45 minutes to 46 minutes of coast phase as the vehicle ascends to its target orbit. Yes, Fairmade really today it looked so good, and yes, agreeing with Pop Tripika. So we did got SECO 1 and we did got the call out for nominal orbit insertion. So these were the call outs we were waiting for. Second stage engine cutoff and a second engine cutoff call out and confirmation of good nominal orbit. Although everything went fine for today's launch, but we didn't got the call out for SECO 1. Maybe they missed it anyways, but we did saw it happening. So today's launch marks SpaceX's 482nd successful mission, with landing marking their 442nd success. With that, we will wrap our coverage for now. And once again, just a reminder, we are going to stream the upcoming Starlink 6-91 launch. So don't forget to tune in. The stream is already posted on our channel and is waiting for your visit. Now, before wrapping up, I want to thank you for wherever you are watching our live launch coverage. Really, we can't do this broadcast without you. Thank you for your continued support of what we do here at AstroYonder. It's really so kind of you. And also be sure to check out our social media handle on X for the latest happenings in space industry and updates on upcoming launches. Guess the link got posted on the chat. Now, hope you enjoyed the stream and we could meet your expectations for the stream. We appreciate everyone joining us for today's launch. Wishing you a nice weekend ahead. Once again, thanks for watching. This is AstroYonder Live and me, Dipta, sign off for now, and we will see you next time.